Welcome back to Taiwan Outlook. Our guest today is Dr. Chao-Jen Huang. He's the director of the Business Consulting Center at the Taiwan Institute of Economic Research. Dr. Huang, we've been talking about the rise of ASEAN, but in the region there are also other rises of other countries, including the rise of China. So how does China see the rise of ASEAN?
China, they want to build up so-called ASEAN plus one, mechanism. They want to move, to integrate, the ASEAN as a single market. So for China, they treat ASEAN as a very important partner. That is because ASEAN can provide very important natural resources for China. For instance, the iron ore, chromite ore, nickel ore, forest, timber, and seafood, and the huge land, and that is a natural resource can provide the needs, the needs of China.
Yeah.
That's one reason. The other reason is, they treat ASEAN. The ASEAN got about 500 million population. 500 million population means it's big market.
Yeah.
So China want to export their market to ASEAN countries. So they can have a format, so-called 1.8 billion population or consumers for Chinese plus ASEAN market. So it's very important in the eyes of Chinese people.
But the idea is that you have a 10 plus 1, another ASEAN 10 countries plus China. But the thing is, it's not 1 plus 10. Does it make a difference?
For Chinese viewpoint, they treat us 10 plus 1. Yeah, for ASEAN country, they treat us 10 plus 1.
Oh, China is
1 plus 10.
Okay.
1 is a big brother.
That's right.
Yeah, they integrate. Yeah, the ASEAN country 10.
So in other words, in the eyes of China, they want to be the leading force for the regional integration.
Yeah, so China will be they treat the ASEAN as their influence of sphere.
Okay.
So they can take not only for the market but also the natural resources. Yeah, to the China.
But yes, there are partnership between China and ASEAN 10 countries. But some people also argue that they are also competitors as well in terms of, for instance, attracting FDIs. Do you think that these two countries or regions or entities are also competitors as well?
ASEAN countries already look at these issues. So before, in the early 2020s, they treat China as a competitor to attract foreign direct investment. Now they find a way. They find a way to solve this problem.
How?
The approach is they share the idea of 10 plus 1. If you want to do the foreign direct investment, you go to 10 and then you go to 1. So you treat as a single market.
I see.
Instead of a competitor. It's a kind of single market. So ASEAN country can attract more, the foreign direct investment, and China takes some.
Yeah, but on the other hand, China has a different view of it.
Yeah.
They're hoping that you can invest in the 1 instead of the 10, right? So the thing is, in this kind of FDI competition, and who's the winner right now so far?
So far, of course, China.
Okay.
Because for foreign companies, they treat China as a huge market. So they prefer to invest in China because of access to the market. So not only for manufacturing, but also they can expand their consuming market in China, the market share in the global market.
Yeah.
So it's more attractive for foreigners. Yeah.
But when it comes to 10 plus 1, other countries are missing. Japan, and as we know, in the 1980s. There's a theory of so-called flying geese, with Japan, in the front, and other countries, including China, are in the back. But now you have flying dragon, with China in the front. And how about Japan, sees the process now?
fried gaze theory, still exists in the mind of Japanese, because Japan is still the largest and the biggest investors in ASEAN countries. The fried gaze, for Japanese, they because they transfer technology, they pass their capital, and they provide job opportunities for the ASEAN, peoples. So far, we've looked at the process of economic development of ASEAN countries. We find the Japanese still, play a very important, the most important role in this region.
Yeah.
In contrast, for so-called China, if you look at the flying dragon, so far it's still, difficult to persuade, scholars or the local people, China can replace the position of the Japan so far, because China still lack of the technology capacity, and of course the capital still exists keep in China, because most of Chinese still invest in China. If we look at foreign direct investment of Chinese, accumulated until now is only about 3.6 billion US dollars. So it's very small compared with the Japan.
I think Japan also proposed a different alternative, which is ASEAN plus 3, including Japan, South Korea, and China. Is that more workable or feasible than the ASEAN plus 1?
It's more feasible for ASEAN countries. ASEAN plus 1 is goals, and ASEAN plus 3 is also moving forward. For instance, last year,
is that overlapped or
it's overlapped.
Different tracks?
It's overlapped. In fact, it's overlapped. In certain parts, it's overlapped. It's overlapping, to a certain degree. Yeah. For instance, the ASEAN and Japan already finished the negotiation and signed ASEAN plus Japan, free trade agreements. So now the ASEAN countries, now they are focused on negotiate with the South Korea, and of course China. They already negotiated signed issues on goods and the service sectors. Now next year they are going to do the trade agreements. So if they can conclude, the trade, trading issues, trading agreements, which means the ASEAN plus 1, the ASEAN plus China, they can complete the whole process, the FTAs negotiation.
So apparently, regional countries are very interested in developing models that fit their own national interests. How about the U.S.? As we know, the U.S. has been very important economically, politically, and security, in terms of security in the region. And the U.S. government, the Bush administration also proposed the so-called FTA-AP, free trade area in Asia Pacific. Is that a counter-proposal by the U.S.?
From the political viewpoint, it's yes, because the President Bush tried to balance the so-called rising influence of China, in the ASEAN regions. So the President Bush, raised the FTA, the AP, so-called the APEC FTAs. That's right. So it can invite, the FTA, everybody to join the so-called regional integration. It's kind of balanced. But if you look at the influence of U.S., we will find the U.S. still play a very, very important, the role in the region. It is not, the U.S., they got long-term historical relations, not only with the Philippines, but also with the Singapore, Thailand as well. So they got a military, the pacts, cooperation agreements. This kind of security and the military agreement is quite strong and solid. So they play a very important role so far. So it's difficult for Chinese to replace the influence of the U.S.
But in the process of regional economic integration, will the U.S. be marginalized in this process economically?
Economically, not marginalized. It means, the competitiveness of U.S. is, the decreasing.
Yeah.
So the market in ASEAN, the U.S. losing, the competitiveness in terms of, the ordinary products.
That's right.
If you look at the aerospace, the
High-tech.
aircraft, high tech, the U.S., enjoy, the global competitiveness without doubt. But if you look at the machinery, the machine tool, the clothes, the wearing, apparel, so on and so forth, there's no products from the U.S.
That's right.
Only from the China, Yeah.
So finally, how about Taiwan in this process? Do you think that we can survive or thrive in this process of regional integration?
I'm still very optimistic for Taiwan because Taiwan, as we mentioned earlier, we got a good reputation and a good branding name among winning the heart of ASEAN people. It means with Taiwan we enjoy the competitiveness in technology, not only in electronics but also some traditional industries, machine tools and agriculture, aquaculture, especially the agriculture and aquaculture. We take a lead in the global market, and agriculture and aquaculture can win the heart of the ASEAN people. So for Taiwan, we got to find a way, to accommodate to this region using the tools of agriculture and aquaculture.
And thank you much, Dr. Huang, to come to our program. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And thank you for watching Taiwan Outlook, and see you next week.